Hello students and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to start your new chapter number 8, motion, right? So this is a physics chapter, very interesting chapter. We are going to start it today, motion, right? So in this chapter we are studying about the different types of motions, right? And related to that some equations, graphical representation of the different motions we are also studying. Along with that some of the numericals also we will start, right? So let's start this chapter. See here, we are seeing so many objectives around us, those who are always in motion, right? So some examples are given here that birds are flying, fish swims, blood flows through our arteries and veins, right? Car moves, right? Atom, molecules, planets, stars, galaxies are all in motion, right? So all these are the things which show us that they are always in motion, right? So what is mean by motion, or when we can say the object is in motion, right? See here, the object is said to be in motion when its position is changes with time, right? Now take an example. Suppose if any person is standing on a place, right, and just showing a motion. Showing motion means just moving his hand or just doing steps up and down on the same place, right? So what he does, he just moving his feet up and down on the same place. So if we see the movement, right, biological movement is there, then yes, it is there. But is it a motion? Can we say it is a motion? Because most of the time movement and motion we take it analogous. So is this movement is a motion? No, right? When we say a object is in a motion, whenever there is change in its place, right? So whatever the original place is there, earlier place is there, that will get changed with time. This also is very important. So change in a place or a position with time is there, then and then only we can say the object is in motion, right? Now something is there which is just moving on that same place, round, 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 right? So in this, if the place is not changed with time, means after 1 minute, after 2 minutes, after 3 minutes, if it is found on the same place, we cannot say that the object is in a motion. So we say that the object is in a motion when its position is changed with time, right? So we say that object is in motion when its position changes with time, right? So remember this definition for the motion, right? Now sometimes we also observe the motion of air, right? As you know that air we can't see, right? But then also we can observe the motion of air, right? How we can observe the motion of air, right? Are you able to see the air? Now in front of me air is there here, right? In front of you air is there. Are you able to see the air? No, we cannot see, right? But then also we can say that yes, wind is blowing, air is moving, right? If you are not able to see the air, how can you say that the air is moving? Air is in motion, right? How? That we are just saying with respect to something else. We are saying the motion of air with respect to something else. Means what? When we see the leaves of the plants are moving, right? Then we say that the air is moving, right? Means air is in motion. So this air's motion we have observed with respect to the movement of leaves, right? So in this way, air is in motion. We can't see the air, but we can see the movement of air. That is also with respect to something. Maybe the things get just fly away, clothes just moving, right, fluttering, or the leaves of the plants get fluttering. So with respect to that, we can say that the air is in motion. See in your textbook, the motion of air by observing the movement of dust and the movement of leaves and branches of the trees are there. With that, we can say that air is in motion. The phenomenon of sunrise, sunset and changing of the seasons are there. So this is also there because of the motion. Motion of what? Is the sunrise and sunset is there? Is that the movement of a sun? Right? Is the sun is in the motion? No, right? Changing seasons are there. That is also the seasons are in motion? No. These all things we observed, all these phenomena we observed because of the motion of the earth. Here earth is in motion, right? Now here if we are saying that if earth is in motion, do we see that motion of earth directly? Are we perceiving directly the motion of earth? Now you tell me, right? Are you perceiving the motion of earth? You know that, even I know that the earth is always in motion, right? Earth is rotating also and revolving also, right? So if the earth is rotating and earth is revolving, then why do we not feel that, right? As you go out of your class, then also the tree which were there at that place only the next day we can see. Your school, wherever it is there, at that place only every day you can see the school. All things are there on that same place. But whenever something is in the motion, the places get changed, right? So but that we are not perceiving in case of earth's movement. Think on this, right? Because whatever the things on the earth are in motion, along with that we are also in the motion, right? And here the motion is not very slow. This is very highest speed is there. Very fast earth is moving, right? Then also we are not perceiving because we are all there together in the motion. And when everything moves, then that time we are not feeling a motion. Okay, here that's why we are not able to feel the motion of the earth. All the things along with us we are in motion. Now if you will see, you just take the cell, single cell of our body till the full universe. Everything is in the motion, right? But then also we are not perceiving it because we all are in motion. And whenever two things parallelly, consistently with the same speed they are moving, they are not feeling that they are in the motion. See in the next line in your textbook, an object may appear to be moving for one person and the stationary for the some other. See, think sentence once again. An object may appear to be moving for one person. Means the one person can see an object is in a motion. But the second person is there, any other person is there, that person can see the same object is in a stationary position, right? It is a stable. Now how is it possible that the same object, one person say it is in motion and the other person say it is in a stable state, right? For that example is given. See here, the passengers in a moving bus, the roadside trees appears to be moving backward, right? What? The passengers, those who are sitting in the bus, what they observe? They observe that the roadside trees are there, they are moving back, means they are in the motion. But a person standing on the roadside who is not in the bus, whenever the person sees the same trees, he will see that the trees are the stationary, stable on that same place. They are not in a motion. But this person see that the bus along with the passengers are in motion. They are not the stationary. What this roadside person sees, the passengers and the bus are in motion, but the trees, whatever the passengers and seen, the trees are in motion. The roadside person see that the trees are in the stationary state, right? And passengers, those who are sitting inside the bus, they see that the person who is standing outside the bus on the roadside, right, is in a stationary, but the passengers inside the bus who are sitting near to them, they all are stationary one, they all are at the rest, but actually all these passengers are in a motion. This is what the condition we have along with the earth. Our earth is a bus and we all are passengers in that bus. So that's why we all are feeling that we are at rest, we are stable, but actually we are in motion, right? Now see the next paragraph. Most motions are complex. Some objects may move in a straight line, some may take a circular path motion, some may rotate and may vibrate, right? So here there may be a situations involving a combination of these. Maybe the circular path and straight line motions together it will be, right? Or the straight line and vibrations together it will be. So the combination of these motions can also be seen in some cases. So here we can see the different types of motions are there, right? See, in your textbook activity is given. Discuss whether the wall of your classrooms are at rest or in a motion, right? And the second activity is given. Have you ever experienced that the train in which you are sitting appears to move while it is at a rest? Yes. Discuss and share your experience. Now see, in case of the first activity, it is said that whatever the walls are there of your classroom or maybe of your home also, are they in the rest position or are they in the motion? So just now we have discussed about the earth, right? So based on that you can give the answer of this question, right? And the second activity is there. In that it is said that if sometimes you are sitting in a train or in a bus, right, and the bus is standing on a bus stand, and mostly this we experience in case of railways, right? Suppose 1 2 3 railways are there on the platform and you are there, both the sides your railways are there, and you are just looking outside the window, and sometimes you feel like that yes, your train is started and you are moving, right? But after some time you will realize that, oh, the next train was started, the next train is motion, and our train is still on the platform. We are still in a rest position. Our train is not moving, right? So this we experience, right? So just remember your that experience, and even you can discuss with your friends also with this experience, right? So this is what the two activities are there. See below that, think and act is given. We sometimes are endangered by the motion of objects around us, especially if that motion is erratic and uncontrolled, as observed in the flood, right? Means whatever the water movement is there in the flood, that is uncontrolled. We cannot control that, right? River, hurricanes, tsunamis, all these are there. In this situation, the motion is uncontrolled. On the other hand, the controlled motions can be service to the human being. Okay, now the same water's motion is there or the wind's motion is there. Whenever it is controlled, then that controlled motion we can utilize for our benefits. For example, we can generate electricity with the wind as well as with the water. Hydroelectric power we can generate, or wind power also we can generate, right? So this both you just have to understand that whenever the motions are uncontrolled, then they may cause harm to us, but the same whenever it is under the control, then it may be used as an benefit for our service, for our benefit we can use them. Next point is describing motion. Before seeing this point, let's take a look here in this slide, describing motion. Now what is mean by motion, right? See, motion is the change in position of a body with time. Means whenever the position is get changed according to the time, means in 1 minute, in 2 minute where, at 3 minute where, after 5 minutes where, whenever with respect to the time there is change in the position, then it is considered as a motion, right? Motion can be described in the terms of the distance moved or the displacement. Two terms are there. Motions can be described as distance covered or moved, or the displacement takes place by that an object. Now see, describing motion, we describe the location of an object by specifying a reference point, right? Now remember here one word is there, reference point. Now what is mean by reference point? So when we refer something, to explain something, then that particular point is said as an reference point. Example is given in your textbook. Suppose you are explaining someone about the location. Now where is your school? If it is asked, where is your Aadharshila school? Then what you will say? That my school is near the Pancheshwar Mahadev Mandir, or near the gift city, or near the Valad, right? So whatever I have used the word, the near Pancheshwar Mahadev Mandir, or near the gift city, or near the Valad, here these three different words I have used, but the position of school is the constant one in all these three sentences. So my school is near to this. So the reference can be changed, right? But whatever you want to indicate that is your school is a fixed one, right? So to show that fixed position of the school, you can take the reference point of other things near to that. So here in this example I have used the reference as a Pancheshwar Mahadev Mandir, or the gift city, or the Valad village, right? So references can be changed. So whenever we are explaining a position of something or place of something, that time we are also taking a reference. See in your textbook, when we describe a location of an object by specifying a reference point, here example is given, a school in a village is 2 kilometers north, right? So in a village, school's position is said that is 2 kilometers north. Now in a north direction, it can be direction specific, particular direction is shown, and again to make it more specified, reference point is given of a railway station, 2 kilometers north of the railway station. Reference point is taken here as in a railway station. So position of the school with respect to the railway station is there, means here the railway station is a reference point, right? So here the railway station is not the fixed reference point. Except the railway station, you can take any other reference point to show your school's position or to explain the location of the school, right? So we can say that to describe the position of an object, we need to specify a reference point which is called as a origin. Remember, whenever we have to explain or describe the position of any object, then to understand that position, get it clear that we need to specify any reference point, and this reference point is called as the origin. In this case, it is said that 2 kilometer north of the railway station. So the 2 kilometer north is the distance, even direction is given, but from where this 2 kilometer distance will be start? This will be start from the railway station. So railway station is the origin, right? So from here you have to start to measure the distance, that is 2 kilometer in a north direction. So this is the origin place, right? So this reference point is there, that is called as a origin. Now see on the next page, motion along a straight line. We have seen that different types of motions are there. In that the first type is given, that is the motion along a straight line, right? This is the very simplest type of motion, and here the motion takes place in a straight line. Simple, in a straight line without changing direction. Example is given here. See this figure you have to consider, right? Here it is 0, 5, 10, 15. Distance is given in kilometers, and on this distance line there are some points marked. This is the O place, then this is C place, B place and A place, right? Just remember this and see here. The object starts its journey from O. So this is what the O point is there. So suppose object is there, it starts its journey from this point, that is a O, right? So here O is a reference point. So from here the starting point, this will be considered as a starting point, right? So O, which is treated as a reference point. Let A, B and C represent the position of the object at a different instant. So this is A, B and C. These are the position at particular time interval, right? At first the object moves through C. First it will move to C, then B and reaches to A. At last it reached to the A. Then it moves back. Then from the A again it moves back along the same path and reaches to C through B. Then first it will come to the B and then go to the C. See the movement of the object. The object will start moving from O, then go to the C, then B, then A, and again it turns back on the same path, go to the B and go to the C. The final position of that object is at C, right? But see here, 2 points you have to consider. The total length covered by the object is. What is the total length covered? Now you see that. Now you can see that the object moves from O and reaches to the A. So the total distance covered by an object the first time, that is O to A, right? Then object turn back and reach to C through B, right? So distance again covered by object from A point to C point. So the total distance whenever we have to consider, then you plus these two distances, O to A plus A to C. So here OA plus AC is equal to 60 plus 35 kilometer, because this 0 to 60 kilometer and then go back to C. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, right? So total 35 kilometer is there A to C. So 60 plus 35 kilometer is equal to 95 kilometer. So the path length covered by an object is 95 kilometer. So this is what we can say, that the distance covered by an object is a 95 kilometer, right? Now here, whenever we are explaining the distance covered by an object, so this is just a covered distance, so that you can just explain in a numerical value. Here no need to show any direction in a north, right, left, east, west. Any direction is not needed over here. Only numerical value is sufficient, right? Whenever we are talking about the distance covered. There are certain quantities which are described by specifying only their numerical values, right? Direction is not required. So this numerical value is there. This is called as a magnitude. This physical quantity is called as a magnitude, right? Remember this word magnitude, because hereafter this word will come. Whenever any value is mentioned, then that numerical value is there, it will be considered as an magnitude, right? See, the shortest distance measured from the initial to the final position of an object is known as the displacement. This is the second term. Here we have seen the distance covered, right? Now the second term is there, the displacement. Once again see the definition. Shortest distance, right, measured from initial to final position is known as the displacement. Once again see the path in this figure. The object moves from O to A, then come back to C, right? Now this is the last position of the object. This is the initial position of the object, right? Now you have to consider only these two positions, initial position and the final position. Now you have to measure the shortest distance between these 2 points, right? Now what is the shortest distance between these 2 points? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, right? So this 25 kilometer is the shortest distance between these 2 points, initial position and the final position. And this is what is called as a displacement of an object. So whenever you are talking about the displacement, you don't have to see that where the object goes, where it turns, and how much it has gone somewhere else and from where it has come back. No, you have to just see that its initial position and the final position. So here we have seen the displacement means the shortest distance measured from the initial to the final position, right? Now see, the magnitude of the displacement can be equal to the distance travelled by an object. Is it possible that the magnitude of the displacement and the distance travelled will be the same? Once again see the figure, right? Now in this earlier we have taken an example where the object moves from O to A and then come back from A to C. So in this case we have seen that the distance covered by an object is 95 kilometer, but at that same time displacement is only 25 kilometer. But do you think that the displacement will displacement as well as the distance traveled will have the same number? Means displacement is of 60 kilometer and the distance traveled is also 60 kilometer. Yes, it is possible. When suppose the object is moving in a straight line without moving back, right? And there it will be stop. So here the suppose object is moving from O, come to the C, B and reach to the A, right? So in this case, if you will see, the distance traveled by an object is a 60 kilometer, right? Now this is the final position of the object and this is the initial position. Again, displacement means final position and the initial position shortest distance. So here the shortest distance means this one only, right? So this will also comes a 60 kilometer. So in this case, whenever the object is moving in a straight line, then the distance traveled by an object is equal to the displacement. Both the magnitudes will be the same, right? Same it is given. For a motion of an object from O to A, the distance covered is 60 kilometer and the magnitude of the displacement is also 60 kilometer, right? And but when it moved back to the B, from O to A and back to B, in that case, if it goes back to B, then add this 25 kilometer into the 60. So the distance covered is 85 kilometer, but the displacement will be decreased, because as it comes here, then displacement will be 35 only, because the shortest distance you have to take from the 2 points, right? So in this case, displacement and distance traveled is the different. So displacement are used to describe the overall motion of an object and to locate its final position with reference to its initial position at a given time. Remember this. Below that activity is given. Take a meter scale and a long rope. Walk from one corner of the basketball court to the opposite corner along with its side. Measure the distance covered by you and magnitude of the displacement. So here in this case, if you are talking about the basketball court, then displacement and the distance will be different. So what that difference it will come, that you just try to calculate. Next activity is given. So automobiles are there. They are fitted with a device that shows the distance traveled by that automobile, right? And that device is known as a odometer, right? A car is driven from Bhubaneswar to the New Delhi. The difference between the final reading and the initial reading of the odometer is 1850 kilometer, right? So this indicates that the distance between the New Delhi to Bhubaneswar is 1850 kilometer. Find the magnitude of the displacement between the Bhubaneswar and the New Delhi by using the road map of India. So this is what it has come as a distance traveled by a car, right? Now you have to calculate the displacement. Means shortest distance you have to consider in between the Delhi and the Bhubaneswar. Try to do this activity. Below that, on the next page, 3 in-text questions are given. So please solve these in-text questions and send me the answer by clicking a photo. And next point is uniform motion and non-uniform motion. This we will see in our next video. So today we have seen about the motion, right? So what is mean by motion? Then different types of motions are there, and in that what is mean by distance and what is mean by displacement. How these 2 points are differ from each other. So based on this, your today's homework is you have to solve these 3 in-text questions. Along with that, make a column of differences between the distance and the displacement. In the distance, we are no need to mention the direction, but in case of the displacement, we need to mention a direction. So one is the direction, with the direction quantity will be there, and in a distance without direction only quantity will be there, magnitude will be there. So based on that, scalar and vector quantities will be said. These terms I will explain you in the next video, but whatever you have studied in this video, based on this you try to just write the differentiating points between the displacement and the distance, right? complete this work, send me the pics. If you have any doubts, write in comments. If you don't have any doubt, then like the video, and all the best.